He reached for her collar. She whispered, "Don't." One touch could end 1,000,000 miles. The ship floated in the darkness like a ghost that had forgotten how to die. Commander Raylan Ward stared at it from inside his small patrol craft. The vessel was huge, burned, and torn open in several places. No lights. No signals. No movement. Just a metal corpse drifting near a cracked moon. But the moment Raylan stepped inside, he felt it. A strange pressure in the air, like the ship was holding its breath. The corridors were cold. Silent. The only light came from his small helmet lamp. Dust floated like pale snowflakes around him. Every sound he made echoed too far, like the walls were stretching the noise. He walked deeper into the ship, his boots crunching on broken glass and melted panels. Something was wrong. Very wrong. His scanner kept glitching, picking up a faint energy spike and then dropping again. As he turned a corner, a soft sound broke the silence. Not metal. Not machinery. A voice. A weak one. Raylan froze. Someone was alive. He followed the sound cautiously. It led him to a partly destroyed room, the ceiling cracked open, wires hanging like dead vines. Smoke curled upward in thin trails. Then he saw her. A young alien woman lay on the floor, half conscious, her hands bound with energy restraints. Her skin was pale silver, her hair dark and tangled. Around her neck was a glowing band, thin, metallic, covered in symbols Raylan didn't recognize. Her breathing was slow. Weak. Almost fading. Raylan knelt beside her. "Hey, can you hear me?" Her eyes opened slowly. The instant she saw him, fear slammed into her face. Pure, sharp terror. "Don't," she whispered, her voice cracking. "Please, don't come near." Raylan paused. "I'm here to help." "No," she shook her head weakly. "You don't understand, you must stay away." Raylan looked at the collar. The glow inside it pulsed like a heartbeat, blue and cold. Something about it made the air feel tighter. Before he could ask anything more, a deep groan echoed overhead. The ceiling trembled. Dust fell in a soft rain. The whole ship shook. Raylan grabbed the wall for balance. The woman flinched, and the collar flickered from blue to a warning red for a split second. Her eyes widened in horror. "Don't touch it," she whispered. "Please, not the collar." Raylan raised his hands slowly. "Okay. I won't. I just want to free your hands." But the moment he moved toward her restraints, she gasped as if something stabbed her. Her whole body stiffened. "Stop," she cried. "If anyone touches the collar, everything dies." Raylan felt his blood run cold. "What do you mean?" She swallowed hard, barely able to speak. "That collar, it's not a lock. It's a planet eraser. If the wrong hands touch it, it detonates. Everything within 1,000,000 miles, gone." Another explosion boomed somewhere deeper in the ship. Flames lit up the hallway behind them. Raylan made a choice. He moved carefully, slowly, avoiding the collar completely, and lifted her into his arms. She trembled, terrified. "You don't understand," she whispered. "If I panic, it senses it." "Then stay with me," Raylan said softly. "I won't let you die here." The ship shook again. A fire erupted along the corridor, chasing them like a living beast. Metal groaned. Alarms screeched. Smoke filled the air. Raylan ran. Every vibration made the collar flicker. Every flicker made the woman gasp. Her fear was a bomb waiting to wake. "Hold on," he whispered. "Just hold on." Behind them, the warship collapsed in roaring fire. And Raylan knew. This was not a rescue. It was the beginning of a fight against something far greater than both of them. The escape pod shot away from the exploding warship like a spark fleeing a dying fire. Metal and burning debris flew past the window as Raylan held the alien woman close, trying to steady her shaking breaths. The collar around her throat glowed in rapid pulses, blue, then pale white, then blue again, as if confused by the violent motion. Raylan whispered, "You're safe. We're away from the ship." But she shook her head. "No, the danger travels with me." The pod jolted suddenly as a shockwave slammed into it. The entire cabin rattled. The woman gasped. Her fingers dug into Raylan's arm as the collar flashed a sharp, angry red. Raylan cupped her cheek gently. "Look at me. Focus on my eyes. Breathe slow." Her trembling eased. The collar softened back into blue. Raylan let out a breath he didn't know he was holding. But then the pod's automated voice cut through the silence. "Warning. Hazardous device detected. Docking denied." Raylan stared at the console. "Great. They think you're carrying a superweapon." The woman lowered her eyes. "Because I am, to them." Raylan exhaled sharply. "Then we won't dock at any station. I know a small place. Old tech. No scanners." Her eyes lifted, full of disbelief. "Why would you help me?" "Because you're alive," he said simply. "And that means you matter." She stared at him as if no one had ever said those words to her. The pod descended through a thick brown atmosphere and landed with a hard thud on a rugged desert world. Dust blew around the windows in swirling waves. Raylan helped her stand, careful not to touch the collar. One step at a time. The pod door opened with a hiss. A cold wind cut through the hot air, carrying sand across an abandoned mining outpost. Rusted towers leaned like tired giants. Broken antennas crackled in the wind. An old man with a metal arm stood waiting outside, wiping grease from his fingers. "Raylan Ward," he said in disbelief. "What disaster have you dragged onto my planet this time?" "Old trouble," Raylan replied. "Very dangerous trouble." The man's eyes shifted to the alien woman. The moment he saw the collar, he froze. His face turned white. "No. No, no, no," he whispered, backing away. "You didn't bring that here." The woman lowered her head. "I did not choose this." Something in her voice softened him. The old man sighed heavily. "Get inside. Now. And don't let her panic. If that collar turns red," he didn't finish the sentence. Inside the workshop, wires hung from the ceiling. Old machines hummed weakly. Dust coated every surface. Raylan gently sat the woman on a metal stool. "What's your name?" he asked softly. She hesitated, then whispered, "Syrah." Raylan nodded. "I'm Raylan. This is Oren. He's difficult, but brilliant." Oren scanned the collar with a handheld device. The screen flashed violently, then shut off as if it didn't want to continue. Oren swallowed hard. "This isn't standard tech," he said. "It's old. Very old. Something from before the first wars." Syrah looked away, fear returning. "They call it the Eclipse collar." Raylan asked quietly, "Who put it on you?" Her voice shook. "The Vorn Syndicate, the ones who burned my world. They call me the Carrier. I don't even know what I carry." Oren stepped back. "That collar isn't a bomb. It's worse." Raylan frowned. "Worse how?" Oren pointed at the glowing ring around her neck. "It reacts to emotional spikes. Fear. Pain. Stress. If it thinks the host is in danger, it activates, destroying everything in its range. It can wipe moons out of orbit." Raylan felt ice settle in his chest. Syrah whispered, almost breaking, "That's why I told you to leave me." But Raylan shook his head. I'm not leaving you. We'll figure this out together. Before Oren could argue, a loud alarm blared outside. Red lights flashed through the workshop. The ground vibrated. Oren rushed to a dusty monitor. His face drained of color. Oh no. Raylan, Born dropships just entered the atmosphere. Syrah gasped. The collar flickered yellow. Raylan grabbed her hands. Syrah. Stay with me. Look at me. She tried to calm her breath, but fear tightened around her like chains. Oren shouted from behind them. If those ships land, they'll trigger the collar on purpose. They want a system-wide wipeout. Raylan's heart pounded. He looked at Syrah. You're not their weapon. You're not dying here. Outside, dark ships circled the skies like predators. Inside, a collar glowed like a sleeping disaster. And Raylan understood. Saving Syrah wasn't the mission anymore. Saving everything was. The sky above the old mining outpost darkened as the Vorn dropships formed a tightening circle. Their engines hummed like predators preparing to strike. Dust swirled in spirals around the rusty towers as Raylan pushed Syrah deeper into Oren's workshop. The collar around her neck pulsed brighter, blue turning to pale violet, then back again. Oren slammed the metal door shut and locked it with 4 mechanical bolts. This won't hold long, he muttered. Syrah sat trembling, her hands gripping the edge of the workbench. The metal under her fingers began to vibrate from the pressure of her shaking. Raylan knelt beside her. Syrah, breathe. Slow. You're safe here. Her eyes glistened with fear. They follow the collar's signal. They always find me. Oren barked, it's not you they want, it's the tech. They don't care if you burn alive as long as that collar survives. Syrah closed her eyes in pain. Raylan touched her shoulder gently. Tell me what you know. She opened her eyes. The collar listens. Not to words, but to fear. When I panic, it tightens. When danger comes near, it sharpens. They put it on me because I survived their tests longer than anyone else. That made me useful. Raylan's jaw clenched. To them, you're a tool. To you. Syrah whispered. Raylan held her gaze. To me, you're someone who deserves a life. The collar flickered softly, almost reacting to his voice. Before anyone could speak again, the ground shook violently. A blast hit the outer wall. Dust rained down from the ceiling. Oren checked a trembling monitor. They're testing our defenses. Raylan stood. We need a plan. There is no plan. Oren snapped. Not against Vorn hunters. Not with a collar that reacts to every heartbeat. Raylan walked to the center of the room, thinking fast. What if the collar can be rewired? Syrah's eyes widened. Rewired? It doesn't work like that. It reads emotions, not circuits. Oren's eyes lit up with a strange idea. Wait. Emotions, signals, frequencies. He rummaged through drawers until he pulled out a dusty device with tangled wires. Raylan frowned. What is that? A resonance tuner, Oren said. Old war tech. It links 2 brainwave patterns. Syrah backed away slightly. Link? Oren explained fast. If Raylan connects with you, emotionally, the collar may interpret your fear differently. It may stop seeing danger as danger. Raylan stepped closer. Syrah, I won't let anything hurt you. Let's try. Her breath shook. You would share your mind with me? Yes, he said gently. If it keeps you alive. Syrah slowly placed her trembling hand into his. A small spark of blue light passed between their fingers. Oren attached 2 thin wires, one behind Syrah's ear, one behind Raylan's. The device hummed to life. As soon as it activated, Raylan felt a wave wash over him. Memories that weren't his. A burning city. Screaming families. Cold metal hands grabbing Syrah. The day they chained the collar around her neck. Syrah gasped as she felt Raylan's memories too. Battles fought, friends lost, long nights when he believed there was no hope left. The collar glowed white for a heartbeat. Then steady blue. "It's working," Oren whispered. But before relief could settle, a massive boom shook the entire building. The outer wall cracked. Flames burst through the cracks. The dropships were descending. Syrah cried out. The collar flashed red. Raylan grabbed her hands, forcing their linked heartbeat to steady. "Look at me, Syrah. Stay with me." Her breath steadied as her forehead touched his. The collar calmed. But Oren shouted from the window, "Raylan, they're landing a breacher unit." Raylan turned sharply. "Then we move. Now." He helped Syrah stand. She leaned on him, weak but trying her best. As they stepped outside, the desert wind struck their faces. Vorn soldiers were already marching through the haze, their armor glowing with red symbols. Behind them, a large mechanical unit locked onto the outpost with a cannon. Syrah's fear spiked. The collar flashed orange. Raylan quickly placed his hand on hers and whispered, "You're not alone. I'm right here." The collar softened. The breacher unit fired. The blast tore through the sand, sending debris into the sky. Raylan shielded Syrah with his body as the world shook under their feet. Oren yelled, "They're trying to force the collar into activation range. If they push her fear high enough." Raylan shouted back, "Not happening." He lifted Syrah into his arms and ran toward the deeper tunnels beneath the outpost. The Vorn soldiers advanced. The collar pulsed like a heartbeat of danger. And deep in Syrah's eyes, for the first time, something awakened. Not fear, but anger. The tunnels under the outpost were cold, narrow, and filled with old mining tracks. Rusted carts lay overturned like forgotten bones. Raylan carried Syrah deeper inside while Oren limped behind them, clutching a dim lantern. Above them, the Vorn soldiers marched across the surface, each footstep sending faint vibrations through the stone. Syrah trembled in Raylan's arms. The collar glowed in short, sharp flashes. "It's sensing danger," she whispered. "It always knows." Raylan stopped and gently lowered her to the ground. "Then we make it feel something else." She looked up at him, confused. "What do you mean?" Oren set down his tools and pulled out a cracked tablet. It displayed a slow pulse, Syrah's emotional pattern. "The collar reads fear first," Oren explained. "But it reads everything else too. Calm. Trust. Anger. Pain. Even hope." Raylan knelt in front of Syrah. "What if we teach it something new?" Syrah's breath shook. "I've only ever given it fear." Raylan took her hand. "Then give it me." For a moment she froze. No one had ever offered her anything but pity or orders. This was different. This was someone choosing her, not using her. Her hand tightened around his. The collar pulsed in a slow, curious blue, almost like it was listening. But then the tunnel shook violently. A blast echoed from above. Dust fell in clouds. Syrah cried out. Raylan wrapped his arms around her protectively. "You're safe. I'm here. Stay with me." The collar steadied. Oren looked at his tablet in awe. "It's responding faster. The link between you two, it's stabilizing the signal." Syrah blinked back tears. "Why does it trust you?" Raylan brushed a strand of hair from her face. "It doesn't trust me. You do. And it follows you." Before she could answer, a deep mechanical hum filled the tunnel. Oren's face drained. "That's their pulse scanner." They're trying to locate the collar. Raylan lifted Sierra. Then we go deeper. They ran through twisting tunnels until they reached a cavern with ancient mining equipment. Strange metal pillars stood embedded in the rock, humming faintly. Oren gasped. I thought this place was only for minerals, but this tech, it's older than anything humans built. Sierra stepped forward weakly, her eyes widening. No. This is from the founders. My people once hid here before the Vorn wiped them out. Raylan frowned. Why bring your people here? Sierra placed her palm on one of the pillars. It lit up instantly with glowing lines. They were searching for something buried beneath this planet. A star core shard. Something powerful, something they feared might fall into the wrong hands. The collar reacted to the pillar, its glow shifting from blue to a strange silver. Oren nearly choked. Raylan, the collar is sinking with the pillar. Suddenly a hologram burst from the metal structure, ancient symbols spinning around Sierra. A voice echoed through the chamber, soft and distant. Bearer recognized. Genome match confirmed. Sierra clutched her head. I don't understand. Raylan tightened his grip on her shoulders. What does it mean? Oren stepped closer, almost whispering. She is not just carrying the collar. She is linked to the founders. It's reading her as one of its own. Sierra's voice was small. So that's why the Vorn hunted us, not because we were enemies, but because we were keys. The ground shook again, this time harder. A large crack ripped through the cavern floor. Raylan grabbed her. We have to move. But Sierra's eyes glazed over, the collar now shimmering in silver-white waves. Her voice shifted, deeper, resonating with the cavern. They're not just coming for me, she whispered. They're coming for what sleeps below. Oren's eyes widened. What sleeps below? Sierra looked at him, tears running down her cheeks. The second shard. A power source from the old galaxy. If the Vorn awaken it, it will force the collar's final sequence. Raylan felt cold wash over him. Final sequence. Sierra nodded slowly, trembling. It binds the bearer's body, mind, and life, to the shard. I would become the core. Raylan's heart dropped. That means. She gave a small, broken smile. I would never return. The tunnel boomed again, this time from below. Machinery had awakened in the abyss. The Vorn were close. Sierra held Raylan's face gently. I don't want to disappear. You won't, he whispered fiercely. Not while I'm here. The collar pulsed bright silver, almost like it believed him. But deep beneath the outpost, something ancient stirred. Something that wanted her. Something that was calling her name. A deep rumble rose from beneath the cavern floor, like the planet itself was waking up after a long sleep. The glowing pillars flickered as ancient systems stirred. Dust fell from the ceiling in soft waves. The ground trembled under their feet. Raylan pulled Sierra close. Sierra, talk to me. What's happening? Her eyes glowed faint silver as she stared at the cracked floor. It's calling, the shard below. It feels the collar. It feels me. Oren backed away from the widening fissure. We need to get out of here, now. But Sierra didn't move. She was completely still, listening to something only she could hear. Then a voice, cold, metallic, ancient, whispered through the cavern. Corbearer, descend. Sierra flinched. Raylan grabbed her hands. Don't listen. Stay with me. She shook her head weakly. I can't stop hearing it. It's inside my mind, Raylan. It knows my name. The fissure widened with a loud crack. A beam of blue-white light shot upward, filling the cavern with a ghostly glow. Floating symbols circled Sierra like orbiting stars. Oren whispered, horrified. This shard is not just a power source, it's a consciousness. Syrah's breath staggered. It wants the collar to replace its missing core. Raylan's voice hardened. You're not giving it anything. But the symbol light intensified. The collar responded with a rising hum, blue shifting to bright silver, then to a dangerous violet. Syrah gasped, dropping to her knees. It's forcing a connection. I can feel my thoughts splitting. Raylan knelt beside her, holding her shoulders tightly. No. You're here. With me. Look at me. Her trembling slowed a little, but her voice was shaking. It will claim me, Raylan. The Vorn knew this. They placed the collar to control the core. They didn't need a weapon, they needed a key. Another rumble exploded through the cavern. Far above them, the distant sound of battle echoed, Vorn dropships breaking through the upper tunnels. Raylan turned to Orin. How long before they reach us? Orin checked his scanner. Minutes. Maybe less. Raylan cursed under his breath. Syrah lifted her shaking hand toward the glowing fissure. If the shard forces the final sequence, everything ends. I become the engine. Raylan grabbed her hand, pulling it away. No. You don't belong to that thing. Tears spilled down Syrah's cheeks. It's not about belonging. It's about destiny. My people were born for this, and they died because of it. Raylan cupped her face, forcing her eyes to meet his. Destiny doesn't decide who you are. You do. The collar pulsed, slower. Softer. Almost touched by his voice. But then. Boom. The tunnel wall behind them burst open. A Vorn breacher unit stormed in, red lights glowing across its armor. More soldiers followed, weapons humming. Orin screamed, "They're here." Raylan pushed Syrah behind him and raised his blaster. Stay back. The breacher unit aimed at Syrah, not to kill her, but to overload the collar. Target, core bearer. Begin destabilization. Syrah cried out as the collar flashed violent violet. Raylan fired first, hitting the breacher's joint. Sparks flew. The massive unit staggered but kept advancing. All around them, Vorn soldiers opened fire. Raylan positioned himself between the soldiers and Syrah, taking cover behind a pillar. Syrah. Keep control. Stay calm. I'm trying, she cried, gripping her head. The collar pulsed faster. The cavern lights vibrated. The fissure glowed. Orin threw Raylan a metal device. Use this. It's a pulse disruptor, I've been saving it. Raylan caught it, slammed it into the ground, and activated it. A shockwave burst outward. Vorn soldiers stumbled, their armor flickering. The breacher fell to one knee. But the shard. The shard grew brighter. Syrah screamed as waves of energy wrapped around her like chains. It's pulling harder, Raylan, I can't hold it. Raylan rushed to her, pulling her into his arms. I won't lose you. I won't let them take you. Syrah's head leaned against his chest, her voice breaking. Then help me fight it, from the inside. Raylan froze. How? She grabbed his shirt weakly. Link again. Like before. But deeper. Not just emotions, minds. Orin's eyes widened. That's impossible. The shard will consume him too. Raylan didn't hesitate. Then it consumes me with her. Not without. Syrah sobbed. You'd risk your mind for me? He pressed his forehead to hers. For you, and for every life this shard wants to silence. The collar glowed intensely, silver and violet swirling together. Syrah placed her shaking hand over Raylan's heart. Then come inside the light with me. And as the Vorn soldiers regrouped. As the shard roared beneath the planet. As the fissure expanded, swallowing light itself. Raylan and Syrah activated the link again. This time, the world shattered. The world dissolved. Light folded. Sound erased. The cavern, the soldiers, the machines, everything vanished into a single blinding pulse. Raylan opened his eyes and found himself standing in a vast white void. No sky. No floor. No air. Just endless space glowing softly, like a dream made of light. "Sira," he called out. His voice didn't echo. It simply existed. A figure stepped forward through the glowing haze. Sira. But not exactly her. Her form flickered, half real, half made of light. "You made it," she whispered. Raylan approached her carefully. "Where are we?" Her glowing hand pointed upward. "Inside the link. Inside the collar's core." A ripple passed under their feet. The void shifted, revealing cracks beneath them, cracks filled with darkness pulsing like a heartbeat. Sira stepped closer, her expression tight with fear. "The collar is trying to merge with the shard. If it succeeds, I won't exist anymore. I'll be overwritten." Raylan took her hands. "Then we stop it." She shook her head. "You don't understand. This place, it's alive. It fights back." As if responding, the ground of light cracked open. Dark shapes rose from the abyss, shadows of Sira's memories. Her world burning. Her people screaming. Vorn soldiers reaching for her. The day they chained the collar around her neck. Each shadow grew arms, faces, hollow eyes. Sira staggered back, gripping Raylan's arm. "It feeds on my fear. It becomes my fear." Raylan stepped between her and the shadows. "Then it's not just your fear anymore." The shadows lunged. Raylan struck them with his bare hands, but his fists passed through like smoke. The shadows surged upward, clawing toward Sira. She cried out as one grabbed her shoulder, cold, sharp, a memory made into a blade. Raylan shouted, "Sira! Look at me!" She met his eyes, tears falling like white sparks. "You're stronger than they ever believed," Raylan said. "Stronger than your fear. Stronger than what they made you." Something shifted. The void brightened. Sira's trembling eased. The shadows weakened, shrinking back into the cracks. Raylan held her face gently. "Fear can't control you unless you let it. And you're not alone this time." The shadows dissolved completely. Sira steadied herself, breathing deeply. I felt that. You pushed them back." "We pushed them back," Raylan corrected. But then the ground burst open again, this time not with shadows, but with a colossal shape made of silver energy. A face without features. A voice without form. The shard's consciousness. "Corbearer. Your purpose is final." Sira's legs buckled. Raylan grabbed her, pulling her close. The colossal figure raised its hand. The entire void rippled with waves of control. "Synchronization, begin." Silver chains shot from the figure's fingers, wrapping around Sira like glowing ropes. She screamed as they tightened. Raylan roared, trying to pull the chains off, but they passed through him like smoke. "No. Raylan, go. Run," she cried, her voice cracking. He grabbed her face, forcing her to look at him. "I don't run from you. I run with you." Sira's eyes widened as Raylan wrapped his arms around her, placing himself between her and the chains. The shard boomed. Unauthorized presence. Human resistance detected. Raylan shouted back. "Good. That means you're afraid of me." The chains struck him, but something strange happened. Where the chains touched Raylan, they didn't pass through like before. They cracked. They broke. Sira gasped. "It can't read you like it reads me. You're not part of its design." Raylan clenched his fists. Good. He grabbed the chains with both hands and pulled with everything inside him. The void shook. The light trembled. The shard's voice distorted in shock. Error, core link destabilized. Syrah felt strength returning to her limbs. The glowing chains loosened. Raylan shouted, "Syrah! Take control. Command it." She pushed herself to her feet, eyes blazing with silver fire. "I am not your core," she whispered fiercely. "I am not your prisoner." The figure roared. The void cracked. Syrah raised her hand, her voice strong and steady. "I choose my own destiny." The entire realm of light detonated outward. The chains shattered. The shard screamed in a voice like breaking metal. Raylan grabbed Syrah's hand as the void collapsed around them. "Hold on," he yelled. Syrah squeezed his hand, her voice trembling but powerful. "Don't let go." And then, a blinding flash swallowed them both. Light exploded around them, so bright it swallowed every shadow, every sound, every breath. Raylan and Syrah fell through the collapsing void like sparks drifting from a dying star. Then, with a violent pull, the world snapped back into existence. They crashed onto the cavern floor. Dust swirled. Ancient metal rang with their impact. Raylan groaned, forcing himself upright. "Syrah." She lay beside him, trembling, but alive. The collar around her neck was different now, no longer glowing silver or violet. It was cracked open like a broken shell, its inner core exposed. Orin rushed toward them from behind a fallen pillar, eyes wide. "You're alive. Both of you. I saw the entire cavern light up, I thought you'd been vaporized." Raylan helped Syrah sit up. "What happened while we were inside?" Orin pointed behind them, voice shaking. "See for yourself." Raylan turned, and froze. The shard had risen from the fissure, but it was no longer a hungry engine. It pulsed with a soft, calm light, golden, warm, almost alive. Its violent roar had faded into a peaceful hum. Syrah stared at it, her hand over her heart. "It's changed." "You changed it," Raylan said softly. Before she could reply, the cavern ceiling shook. Dust and rock fell in heavy chunks. Vorn soldiers, stunned by the earlier shockwave, stood frozen near tunnel entrance, unsure if they had won or lost. But their confusion didn't last long. A booming voice echoed from their comms. "All units, retreat. The core is compromised." One soldier dared to speak. But the bearer. "Retreat." The Vorn soldiers fled like shadows under sudden sun. Orin blinked. "They're leaving." Just like that. Raylan watched the soldiers vanish into the upper tunnels. "They're afraid. The shard doesn't belong to them anymore. They don't control it." Syrah touched the broken collar. "They think the engine is useless now." Raylan tilted his head. "Is it?" Syrah smiled faintly. "No. It's awake, but free." A deep hum rolled through the cavern again. The shard rotated slowly, shards of light swirling around it like petals in a cosmic wind. It cast a beam across the cavern wall, revealing something none of them had noticed before. Ancient symbols. A map. A path of the Founders. Orin squinted. "It's showing something. Coordinates. Multiple locations." Syrah nodded slowly. This shard wasn't the end. It was the beginning. My people weren't guarding one engine, they were guarding a network. A web across the galaxy. Raylan frowned. Why would they hide something so powerful? "To stop others from using it," Syrah said softly. "To keep the galaxy alive." Raylan stepped closer, looking into her silver-bright eyes. "Then what happens now?" "The Vorn won't give up. Others will come. Everyone will want what you have." Sira held his gaze, calm and certain. That's why I need to make a choice. Raylan's heart tightened. What choice? She lifted her hand. The broken collar pieces rose from the ground, floating into a soft circle of silver light. They didn't form a weapon. They formed a symbol. A promise. Sira turned to Raylan. I won't be a core. I won't be a prisoner. I won't let the galaxy be chained again. From now on, the engines answer only to those who protect, not destroy. Raylan took a breath. And who decides that? She stepped forward and took his hand. We do. Together. The shard pulsed, acknowledging her choice. A new light flowed through the cavern, warm, hopeful, alive. It washed over the abandoned machines, the broken pillars, the fleeing soldiers. Even Orin felt the shift in the air. Raylan tightened his grip on her hand. Then we're partners now. Sira nodded, tears shimmering in her eyes. Partners who stopped a weapon, and turned it into a guardian. Orin snorted. If you two are done being poetic, we should leave before this whole place collapses. But even he smiled. As they climbed out of the cavern, the ground shook one last time. Not from danger. But from transformation. The shard sank back into the earth, sealing itself in a cocoon of gold light. The fissure closed. The cavern steadied. Outside, the skies were clearing. The Vorn ships were gone. For the first time in years, the desert world felt peaceful. Sira looked up at the sunrise, her silver eyes reflecting the horizon. It's quiet. Raylan stood beside her. No. It's safe. She smiled and leaned her head lightly against his shoulder. You gave me hope, she whispered. Raylan wrapped an arm around her gently. You reminded me why humans fight. Why we never give up. Sira exhaled slowly, letting go of the weight she carried for so long. The galaxy will come for us, she said. Raylan smiled. Then let them come. We changed one engine. We can change the rest. Sira nodded. Together, they walked into the rising light. A human and a former core-bearer. No longer tools, no longer hunted. But the first guardians of a new future. And far above them, in the silent dawn sky, the ancient stars shifted. As if bowing to the ones who dared to rewrite destiny.